Three, two, one, and we're live. My name is Maveo Himuli, and this is another episode of the Village Made podcast. I'd like to acknowledge our sponsor, C4 Designs, for keeping me fitted. C4 Designs is a clothing company on a mission to keep our beautiful niche and culture alive. Use code VMP15 at checkout to get 15% off all purchases at c4dzynz.com. Today we have a special guest from the village. We have my man, Kealoha.
What's up, bro?
Man, I guess appreciate the time. I know you're coming all the way from Salt Lake,
Super excited, bro. I was looking forward to this all week, man.
Yeah.
No joke.
Appreciate you.
Good to see you too.
Yeah, just for, those who don't know, I guess we've gone a ways back, and back into high school and from the Samoa Bowl. And so back in 2004 or 5.
Good old days, man.
Yeah.
05.
So, we've been knowing each other that long. And so, man, just keeping in contact with you or, just through social media, just seeing the things that you're doing. And so I kind of wanted to reach out. A lot of these people that I talk to, they inspire me. And so I just wanted you to know that.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate
it. Because you inspire me. Your hustle inspires me. And just the different things that, you're doing with your life. But we'll also talk about that here in the podcast. And so, get to give a little bit to the people and let them know what you're working, what you're doing. And so
cool.
I guess let's just get straight into this. For those who don't know, your name, talk about your name, who named you, where you got your name from, and the meaning of your last name. So
it's a funny story. I'm glad that you're bringing this up now. Like, a lot of people ask me where I got Tua from. And
is it short for something, or is it just the name Tua?
Well, in the industry, I wanted to go by Tua because that's my mom's maiden name. My mom's maiden name is Tua, and our family is a big family in Hawaii and Samoa. But my real name, here it goes. My real name is Austin. Okay, so a lot of my boys growing up in in high school, they were just like, call me Tua because my family, their last name is Tua. And I represent that proudly, you know what I mean? Like, so in the industry wise, I go by Tua Kealoha. That way I can represent both sides of my family, you know what I mean? My obviously my mom's side and my dad's side. So, man, there's a little secret that got out today, but you can call me Austin, man. The girls like it, they ask me how come I don't go by Austin, but when I hear Austin, bro, it just gives me a little trigger because it'll be like my grandma or my mom yelling at me, like, Austin! I'm like, oh, damn, I'll snap back in, so I get kind of scared. But that's where I got Tua from, yeah.
And then Kealoha?
Kealoha is my dad's. He actually got that from his stepfather. His stepfather is from Hau'ula, Albert Kealoha. And he kind of raised him, so my dad took his last name. And, that it was history ever since. So, yeah.
That's cool. So for, I guess your parents, are they from Samoa?
Yes.
Or your dad? Or
so my mom is from the village of Whangasa.
Okay.
And from my understanding, my dad is from the village of Falangiu, right? And then my mom's, coming from the village of Whangasa, man, it's like a small village, but a very historic and rich in culture kind of village, you know what I mean? It's called Whangasa. It's like the Forbidden Bay in American Samoa, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of history in there. Like, I from my understanding when I was growing up, my family is like the ones that like to take care of the people, like the main people in the village and stuff like that. And man, I'm just like, I can tell by how I treat people, it's like I know it's stemming from that.
Right.
Like
it's embedded in you.
Yeah,
it's already like in you.
It's like a chief looking after his people, and people, like random people like I was on BYU TV about 1 month ago, and this lady said, she just came up to me. She was the host. She's just like, I feel like I've seen you in a past life before. Like, you were a chief. I can tell people flock to you for help, and you take care of them. And so, like, I kind of see that. That side of like being my grandfather. My grandfather, Lupe Falele Tua, you know what I mean? Like, he took care of a lot of people, you know what I mean, in his village growing up and stuff like that. And I get that, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like embedded in me, so.
That's cool. It's rooted deeper, than just who you are, I guess.
Yeah.
That's
it's
interesting.
The way you walk,
That's cool.
Like you just feel the vibes, there's whatever vibes you put out into this world, reciprocates, you know what I mean? And I'm just always that one person. You have to have that one person that looks out for everybody, making sure everybody's okay. That's I kind of see that self in
That's what you
me.
feel.
Yeah.
Interesting. So where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Honolulu, Hawaii. Yeah. My
That's
parents
cool.
lived off in Makiki, and just
How many siblings?
I have one sister and two brothers.
And they back in home in
Yep,
Hawaii, or
back in Hawaii. Yeah.
So you're the only one out here.
Yep, the only one out here in Utah, man.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Man, I guess so. Growing up in like Makiki,
Yeah.
or just in Hawaii in general, what were some of the, I guess, cultural traditions that you were taught in the home?
Respect is big. Whether you be Tongan, Samoan, Hawaiian, respect is everything. Family is a big part of that as well. You know what I mean? A lot of the traditions is like, I remember Sundays like, Tonai, or Kongai every Sunday. I think church was a big thing about growing up. My parents were big on church, make sure I go to church on Sunday and stuff like that. So, yeah.
That's cool with the culture. The culture, like the Polynesian culture is rooted in God,
Yeah.
In your faith. And then you talk about your church, and then also the culture of being respectful.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I guess growing up, did you get lickings a lot? How was that?
I'm gonna say this: everything that I learned in life, I learned the hard way. I was that kid. Like, you tell me don't press the button, I'm gonna press that button. I can see. Yeah, I did. I drive my parents crazy. I remember when my mom's siblings would babysit me, I'll drive them crazy too. I remember one time my uncle was babysitting me, and then he couldn't handle me, so he's calling my mom, "You better come get your son. I can't." I was that kid that learned everything the hard way, man. Just I didn't learn my lesson.
So I guess you got some calluses along in life.
Oh yeah, man.
Life gives you calluses. Yeah, that's crazy.
I think I had ADHD, bro. I couldn't sit still, bro.
Yeah. And then I guess, just going back a little bit to your parents, do you know, or the reason why they moved to the U.S. or to Hawaii?
I think, from my understanding, my mom, she was born and raised in Whangasai, and she came, I think in high school age to move to Hawaii. I think she went to McKinley. And she just wanted a better life, man. Yeah. Fortunately enough, she got a flight attendant job with, I think I don't know if I'm saying it right. SPIA? Remember, was there a SPIA Airlines or something like that? South Pacific Airlines or something that. And eventually became Hawaiian Airlines, and she's been with Hawaiian Airlines ever since.
Dang,
I think my dad was born in American Samoa, and then he moved to Hawaii with his mom, and he went to Pearl City High School.
So they just moved for opportunity?
I think opportunity, better life, which is always the cause, right? Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So Sunday konga'is for you, what was that like? What kind of foods were there?
Oh yeah, I mean, you got the usual, like the Samoan food, the fa'i, the sapasuis, and rice is a big thing. You know what I mean? Rice was there, but to be honest, bro, what I loved about some konga'is on Sundays when we got off of church was my mom made tuna sandwiches, right? And we'd eat the tuna, like good bomb tuna sandwiches, right. And we eat it with the Korean saimini. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That was like
sandwich and saimini.
Yeah,
that's the good combo.
That was
right
that's
there.
what I remember. So, yeah.
Man, that's cool.
Yeah.
I guess growing up, are you the oldest?
Yeah, I'm the oldest.
Or were you your sibling? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I was the oldest. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
When you were growing up, in like the Samoan culture or being Samoan and stuff, did you ever feel in certain situations that you were too Samoan or maybe not Samoan enough?
I think that's one of the things that kind of got me because, a lot of some of the Usos growing up, they would tease me for having a Hawaiian last name.
Right.
And that would just like really mess with me. You know what I mean? Like, I'd go do this, and it's like, oh, you're not Samoan enough. What? So, like I go chill with the Samoans, like, so you got a Hawaiian last name, and then, I go with my Hawaiian brothers and be like, well, you act like you're Samoan, like, you know what I mean? Right. So that kind of like took a toll on like not really fitting in, kind of thing, kind of getting picked on for that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But in the community, like in the Polynesian community, you don't go tell your mom and dad, I'm getting picked on. You keep it in, right? So I really kept it in, like growing up. So
Did you
yeah.
feel like that kind of hurt you in finding your identity, maybe, or
Yeah. Yeah.
did
I
that
mean,
help, maybe, or
I think at the time as a kid, you have this mentality like where you want to fit in, right?
yeah,
But
yeah,
like
trying to figure it out, in life,
me and you at this age, like now we know that being unique and being who you are is what's going to make you go far.
right?
And I didn't know that, you know what I mean? I just wanted to do just to fit in, you know what I'm saying? So it was tough. I remember that, in middle school was hard for me, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Yeah, man. And then I talk about childhood in Makiki. Did you also go to? Because you went to Kalahel.
Yep, I went to
Did you move
Kealoha.
out to Kalahel, or you just lived in
Yeah,
Makiki and then
well,
went to
so
Kalahel?
my mom, my parents, they moved from Makiki and they moved to Kaneohe. And then I think I run Roosevelt for like a freshman year. Castle that wasn't
okay.
working out for me. I didn't like Castle. So I ended up in Kalahel because of football. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the coach was like, it was a new head coach, Coach Tioti, and I was like, man, I want to go play for him. So I ended up like getting a transfer to Kalahel to go play for him. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess what was it like coming up in childhood in Kaneohe? Or I guess your youth, your teens.
Yeah.
And you moved?
I think at the time where I was still trying to find my identity. You know what I mean? And I had my cousins in Kalihi that had a big influence on me. You know what I mean? Just like
Just falling back to the village.
yeah,
That village is helping you.
like like I see my cousins getting onto this trouble, and I kind of like got sucked into that. You know what I mean? And just like I remember a point in time in high school where I was just like getting into trouble and doing things that just that wasn't approved, you know what I mean? And I just had so much anger, but like I said, stemming off of coming back, not wanting to speak to your parents about those things.
Right.
Because, if it doesn't hurt you physically, it doesn't exist.
Right.
What's anxiety? What's depression? I didn't know what anxiety and depression was. I just know how to do it the negative way, So just a lot of the influence I don't want to put my cousins down because they were doing what they knew.
Right.
So like, I kind of got sucked in that kind of life for a little bit, you know what I mean? Just again, finding my identity, it was tough. And about, what happens in Kali, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
so yeah.
Dang, man. I guess, man, so like some of those things the trouble that you got into,
Yeah.
was it easy to find your way out of it, or because your cousins were all into it too, was it easy just to be like, oh, let me go back to that? Or was there ever a point where you try to get out of it? Or try to be different or do different?
I think at the time I just wasn't. I was just doing what just to fit in, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Just like not really caring about being myself. It was just doing crazy stuff. I mean, I was angry inside. You know what I mean? But yeah. I just got it. It just got into some. I'm glad I went through it though, because now I know it's like, man, that was a whole bunch of wasted time. But it makes you who you are. You know what I mean?
And so, at what point did you feel like that light bulb switch, or that switch or that change came,
bro?
For you to like step outside of yourself, or like trying to be an individual?
I think having my kid at the age of 19, my second kid at the age of 19.
Oh,
bro.
dang.
Yeah.
So what age did you have your first?
18.
Wow.
18. And then I
in Hawaii?
Oh, no. And I had, Missouri. And then I in Utah,
What took you out to Missouri?
So I was trying to go to school where my uncle went, Central Missouri State University. And I was trying to get situated in there and go to school and play, eventually try to play rugby. I ended up playing rugby and getting football as well. But, things changed, man. Things happened and ended up back in Utah because my kid's mom is from Utah. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
And so is that how you ended up here in Utah?
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Dang.
We moved to Glendale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was that transition, I guess, moving from Hawaii to Missouri and then from Missouri to Utah? Was it a big culture shock for you?
Yeah.
Or what was the big difference?
I didn't know there were so many tongues in Utah, man. And I didn't know there were like Mexicans. And I mean, Glendale was just like a west side part of Salt Lake. And it was just like, like I was just shocked, you know. I mean, you have some Tongans in Hawaii,
Yeah.
but over here, I think, you know, Tongans are the majority.
Yeah. What about in Missouri? Were there any polys where you were
Yeah,
at?
there's Samoans in Missouri. My mom's youngest brother lives out there. Yeah, in Independence, Missouri, there's a big Polynesian.
True. There's a lot of,
yeah.
Dang, that's crazy. So for, I guess when you were growing up, what did you see yourself doing when you got older, I guess, or what were some of your dreams when?
I've never mentioned this, I think, in any podcast. Like, I've always wanted to be an actor.
Okay.
And you know,
movies,
I remember
watching movies. Is that how you got inspired,
bro,
or how did you get that?
Watching movies, man. Just, you know, every movie I watched, you know, you always imagine that you're the character, right?
Right.
And I remember one time, I think I said to my friends, like, "Hey, I'm gonna go take theater class," and they're all like, "What? You know, that's whack. Dude, are you serious?" And I'm like, "Okay, never mind," you know. But I've always wanted to take theater, you know what I mean? And I just didn't have the guts to do it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, at the age of 26, man, I just started pursuing, you know, acting, you know what I mean?
That's cool.
And I think, like what I mentioned earlier, is just helping kids, youth was another like passion of mine.
Yeah.
You know, just trying to show kids a different route, you know?
Dang. So essentially, when you were younger, you could see you saw yourself as an actor.
Oh yeah.
And that's how you kind of follow that along. As
You know, the Steven Seagals, the Steven Seagals, the Van Dams, you know, like the movies like Superman, you know, growing up, like I've always just like daydreamed about like, you know, being those guys, you know.
So you mentioned that 26, you got into acting.
Yes.
So what gave you the courage, or what gave you to step out, you know, and do that?
I think a lot of loss in my life made me realize, you know, I have nothing to lose. I just got to go do it, you know. I think at the age of 23, going through my divorce, man, that just really just made
divorce too. So you had 2 kids by 19, and then a divorce.
And then I had my third child, man. And you know, I didn't really speak on it, but you know, I felt like, you know, having a lot of loss in my life. And it's just like, it got me to the point where like, look, what do you got to lose, man? Just go for it. You know, I got approached by one of like a casting associate, and she's all like, you should do this, you know, should be in a movie, da 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 da. And I was like, okay, let's do it. You know what I mean? And I took 2 selfies, bro, one mean one smiling one, in Jordan Landing. I sent it to her. She sent it to her peoples. They said they love my look. She says, come in. I went down. They sent me some lines, and I studied them. You know, and I studied them for like a week. And I went downtown Salt Lake, and I just auditioned. And I didn't realize that was one of the biggest casting directors in Utah. His name is Jeff Johnson. And about, I think 2 weeks later, they emailed me, you know, and called me and says, congratulations, Mr. Kealoha, you got the role. So my very first speaking role is on a Netflix movie called Code of Honor with Steven Seagal. And ever since then, man, the ball's been rolling, you know. I remember on set, everyone's asking me, where'd you come from? I was like, oh, Utah. Who's your agent? I said, I don't got no agent. And they're like, you got this without getting an agent? I was like, yeah. And everyone was just like, wow, you need an agent. Yeah. So, yeah.
Man, I guess, so the movies and the films that you've worked on, are you the only Polynesian on set, or are there others around?
I think, so funny story is, when I got on set, my role was originally to be like a Mexican gangster.
Right.
And so when I got on set, there was like 2 groups of extras. Okay, one was all Mexican, and the other one, some Polynesian. His name is Dino Wolfgram. Showed up with his crew, and they were Polynesian. And one of the, I think, assistant directors came in and goes, what do you feel comfortable with? And I looked back before, I was like, I gotta go with my Polynesian just to make it look authentic. So I went with the Polynesians, and there were other Polynesians on set as well. Yeah.
Man, how do you feel? Like, do you feel like you got to represent? How does that feel for you?
Our people are very talented people. Like, I'm not just saying it because I'm getting goosebumps.
Right.
I'm not just saying it because I'm Polynesian. Our people are very smart people, but a lot of them don't have the courage to step outside their comfort zone. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Talk
And the
on that,
number
man.
one rule is because of being uncomfortable and being hated on. Okay, that's big thing to me. And our people are very talented people, and I don't feel the urge to represent them because I feel like we're already represented. I want people to see me as like, wow, we're not just football players. We're not just sports players. Like we can
Preach,
be
man.
on screen too. Like we're like very like creative and passionate people. You know what I mean? Not just football players. You know what I mean? And I think that's what I want to show them. You know, like show my kids like, you know, like I'm not built just like a football player. I can be an actor too. You know, and there's acting is hard. You know, it takes a lot of courage to do acting. You know, when it comes to being acting, I think the biggest thing about Polynesians is we hate being rejected. The feeling of rejected from our parents, from our family, from our friends.
Yeah, the circle.
When we get rejected, us as Polynesians, we get discouraged easy and we give up. You know what I mean? Yeah. And for me, that was the hardest lesson. And acting taught me one thing is to deal with rejection. I worked so hard to go audition for this role, and I find out that I didn't get it, but I put my all into it. I get discouraged.
Right.
And as Polynesians is like, once we get discouraged, we give up, and then the dream is over. And we listen to what our mom says. We listen to what our father says, and we need to snap out of it.
Yep.
You know, at one point in time, I don't want to put my mom on blast, but when I told her, Mom, I want to be an actor, straight up, I told her, and she was like, Mama, you know what I mean? Yep. Like in Samoan, it means like waste of time. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that hurt because my mom is one of the most important people in my life. Yep. But my advice to Polynesian actors, girls, and boys is don't get discouraged. What you need to show your family is consistency. Let them know that you're serious about this. You can't wake up. You can't wake up. You can't choose and pick and choose on when you want to become successful.
Yep.
It's an everyday thing. And when your family sees your consistency, I promise you they're going to take you serious. You know, that's what I had to do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? My family was all like, this guy, come on, man. Like, really? Now they're like in my inbox, like, bro, I'm so proud of you. Right? See you doing your thing. Like, bro, let me be in the next movie. And this is where our Polynesian and our culture comes in. We can easily like shun them away, like shut up, But that's when the love kicks back in. Is we're like, okay, I remember that you didn't believe in me, but you know what? So what? I'm still gonna be there for you. Yeah. That's what being Polynesian is. That's what a Polynesian heart is. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard. It's hard to do it. But I think that's the definition of Polynesian, letting our heart shine, letting our heart show. People are going to hate on you. But when it's time that, you're higher and they're low, that's where being Polynesian comes in. It's like help them back up. And a lot of our Polynesian people don't get that. And I try to do that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Man, you just answered the question perfectly. I usually ask, what do we as Polynesians have to offer the world, or what can the world learn from us? Yeah. I feel like you just answered it, but do you have any other thoughts on that? Or like, what can we, what do we have to offer the world as Polynesians?
Man, we're going into depth, huh? Think about it. Whether you Tongan, Samoan, Hawaiian, you come from a chief system, right? Yep. You know what I mean? What does a chief do? Takes care of his people. Yep. That's what we are. You know what I mean? No matter what place you are in, no matter what are you on the totem pole, we take care of each other. And if we use that outside of our culture towards other cultures and people, bro, we can be so powerful. You know what I'm saying?
Take on the world, take over the world.
Yeah. Huh? If you notice, I love a bunch of, like, my brother, like Musa Aiden, he's Muslim. My boy JD Allen, Inglewood Films, he's from Inglewood Films. My Meuli homies, my Asian homies, like, just because they're not Polynesian doesn't mean my love is different. It's the same thing. And that's what being Polynesian is letting our, like, sounds corny, letting our love shine, with or within or outside of our culture.
Yep.
We're powerful people, bro. I mean, super powerful. There's in our blood. There's power in it. And it's just you got to feel it. Like I'm feeling it right now.
Yep.
There's power in our blood. The mana. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And I think we got to get out this mentality, like these, like some of the kids that are in mainland, like, oh, that's fob. Hey, you fob, bro. Hell no. You know what I mean? Like, no, bro. There's power in our blood.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like history. And quote me on this, and I want to bring this up.
Yep.
I was reading in a book about Hawaiians, right? When a tribe goes to war with another tribe, the tribe that wins wipes out the other tribe, right?
Right.
So there's no bloodline. I don't want to offend anybody, but this is what I read. So so there's no bloodline after that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the leftover Hawaiians now come from strong blood lineage.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Like our lineage is strong because we're the ones that survived through these
True.
generations.
So if you go back to King Kamehameha, who united all the islands, so it's his bloodline that conquered all the islands, and then continued or carried on, and then Tonga, Samoa, same thing.
Yeah.
You have the Maliatoas, or you have the different lineages of power in Samoa, and then in Tonga, the Tu'itongas,
The Tu'itongas, yeah.
So the survival of the fittest, right?
Exactly. So whatever,
I never
me and
thought
you,
of it like that,
bro.
dude.
Me and you, we come from that lineage some way, somehow. So, like when I tell these Polynesian kids that want to gangbang and join gangsters, bro, you're powerful than that. You know that, right? And so, like, I want you to look at me and see what I'm doing. You know you can do that, right? It's like there's power. Like my biggest thing to this kid is like your vibes speak way before you open your mouth.
Yep.
You understand? Like we have this mentality I see in the kids. Like I am strong. We are strong. Right. We're strong people.
Physically strong.
You know what I mean? Yep. Like our punches hit harder, 10 times harder than most.
Yep.
But that's that power we need. Like I feel like we have to hone in on that and not use it amongst the weak. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't like that when we just like try to punk people.
Right.
It's like we're powerful in that. You know what I mean? We need to use our power for good. Yeah. Which is taking care of our people. You know what I mean? Whether you're Samoan or not Polynesian. Yep. And I think, like my black, my Meulis, my Balangis, they're attracted to that power. Mm-hmm. But then they get amazed on like how a big giant like us is just like so loving. I think they're attracted to that. And we need to show more of that. I don't want people to fear me. Yep. I want people to love me. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what being Polynesian is honing in on that little chief in you. You know what I mean? So
dang, that's crazy, man. Well, I guess in this podcast, that's why I ask you about your name. I ask you about your village. Yeah. Because if you know who you are, and if you know where you come from and the land that you come from, you're tapping into that mana. You're tapping into your power. Exactly. And that's the power that as Polynesian we exchange with other people, and it precedes you, like before you even walk in, like some people feel it before you even walk in, or when you walk into a room, you brighten up the room, or exactly, and I feel like that's the first and foremost is finding your identity, and that's finding it through your name, your people, your culture, your land, And so that's what this is all about. It's just a Village Made podcast, It takes a village, man. Yeah. It takes a village. And so I guess just speak on the hat that you got, What is that, Because it kind of has the same, inference. So I want to give a little shout out to my brother. Well, his brother, but my brother too. I mean, we all brothers. Sifa Hemuli, man. That guy has believed in me from the jump when I was like coming up. I think I barely booked my first movie. And I reached out to him. I love, what you're doing. How do I get sponsored by you? Yeah. And he asked me two things. He said, what gives you drive, and why do you want to represent the clothing company? I said, well, I love what you're doing. We need to put our Polynesian people on the map and showing what we just talked about. You know what I mean? Just the love and everything. And he's been there for me since day one.
And so one of my quotes is, I like to say is, in life is, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, we go together.
Yep.
Go together. And that's what the hat is. And I told Steve, I said, hey, I'm going to be on the Village Made podcast. I'm just going to let you do your thing. I want a hat that speaks volumes. And he surprised me with this yesterday. And I was just blown away. I was like, wow, Sifa does pay attention to it. You know what I mean? So shout out to Sifa, man. C4 Designs, man. I love everything he's doing. We have deep conversations every time we meet. You know what I mean? So yeah, if you want to go fast, go alone.
Yeah.
But if you want to go far, we go together.
Yes, sir.
Village Made.
And that's how we all rise, yeah?
Yeah.
We bring ourselves, all of us together. And so,
yeah.
And I guess for Polynesians, it's easy because we know how to bring everyone along.
Yeah.
You know? Or like, it's easy for us to bring our families because our family is not just me or like my siblings, my blood siblings.
Yeah.
My family is like everyone in my, like around me, you know?
Yeah.
And so just the mentality of we all going together, like that's easy, you know?
And especially in times like this, you know, going with the COVID and the earthquakes and everything that's going on in the world, man. Like
even in Hawaii, the hurricane or the tsunami warnings are like, whoa.
Like Maville, bro, I'm telling you, I've been preaching this since 2009, 10. Like unity is a must. Like we need each other more than ever. Like if we don't learn from our history, we will never change our future. I've been pushing this for so long, and people are starting to realize like now, you know, we need to help each other. You know what I'm saying? We can't rely on, you know, the government and stuff like that. So we need to rely on our community to help each other.
Our village, yeah.
Our village, exactly. And so like, unity is a must more than ever right now, man.
Yeah.
More than ever.
Man, I guess just going back on, you know, that turning point in your life for you to, want to be an actor or come out and be an actor. I guess if there's someone listening right now, maybe the youth, you know, on wanting to pursue their dreams or follow, you know, their passions. What kind of advice would you give to them, like after, you know, the experiences that you've had?
Yeah.
And then like for them to find the confidence in themselves to want to be who they are or, you know, to like be what they're passionate about. So
my first advice is to all the youth that's listening to this. I want to tell you something. Being unique and original in who you are is what makes the world go round. So don't follow the crowd. Follow your dreams. 2, do not care what other people say. Okay? If you care about what people think about you, you already failed.
Right.
Okay? You can't, once you start caring about what people think about you, you ain't ready to be successful. 3, if you want to be an actress or an actor, audition. Get an agent, audition, but at the same time, write your own content. Okay, like I said in the elevator when I told you, I was tired. I was tired of being rejected from movies. You know what I mean? Like I was tired of waiting for people to put me in their movie. So I started writing my own.
Took it in your own hands.
I took it in my own hands. It's like, you know what? I'm just going to write. I didn't know how to write a script. I just wrote it on a piece of paper. I remember my first script for Simone Gold 1. I actually wrote it on a Facebook messenger to my boy, JD Allen. And I still have, I screenshotted it. It was just a long paragraph. And he read it. He was like, that's funny. And ever since then, I've been writing like that way. And then I found a friend that turns it into script form. So now when I write a script, it's all in script form now. Write your own content. You know what I mean? Pursue those dreams. You know what I mean? But at the same time, write your own content. Stop caring about what people think about you, man. That's one of the hardest lessons, especially as Polynesians, right? Like we care, like, care too much. And you know, that really used to mess with my head, bro. Like, you know, like why people are hating on me, like Tua's movies are whack, you know what I mean? But I didn't care. And once the thing that people fail to realize, it's not about the destination, bro. It's about the journey. Yeah. If you watch Simone Gold 1 compared to Dear Lord, where was my recent movie, you'll see the progress of the actual film. And I sit back because when I released Simone Gold 1, I didn't get that much love. I remember, you know, I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I mean, I got love, but it wasn't as good as what, I wanted to be. And it sucked, right? Because I put so much my energy into it. Effort.
Your
and
time.
so like, if you watch Someone Go One, and I dare you guys to go watch Someone Go One.
On Netflix?
It's on Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime? Okay.
Watch Someone Go One and watch the progression to all the way to my recent movie, Dear Lord. And people will tell you like, man, like you've come a long way. And that's why our kids fail to realize is it's like, it's about the journey.
The process.
Not the process.
There you go.
Trust the process. Was Kim's on number 4. He said it. Number 4 is trust the process. You ain't going to be successful. I've been chasing this dream for 5-6 years now. I'm barely scratching the surface. Like who knows? I waited to the age of 26 to pursue my dreams.
Right.
Imagine if I would have not cared about. If I didn't care what people thought about me when I was 18, 17, started taking theater class, I don't know where I would be.
Right.
I would have been on Disney or something. I don't know. But trust the process. Life is beautiful now. You know what I mean? Just I love just what do you call that word? Expressing myself through film. You know what I mean?
Man, it's cool that, just the way you're speaking, the way, that you carry yourself.
Yeah.
You can hear the passion, you can feel the passion that you have for, not only giving back, but also like passing it on.
Yeah.
We have more than enough to go around, and some people would like hoard it, or some people would be like, nah, I ain't going to give my secrets, or I ain't going to do this.
And then,
you want to speak on that?
No, bro. Hey, you know what you're doing. I spoke on that on one of my IG videos is like, if people realize how much there is to go around for all of us to eat, there's no need to be greedy. Like my friend, shout out to my boy Gene Garcia, he said, Tua, you're the driver. Your doors are open. Anybody that wants to jump in, they can jump in. But if you don't want to jump in, that's fine with me, because the car is moving.
Yeah.
And I'm not, and that's, I think that's part of the biggest thing on why I give back so much, is because that's what gives you energy. That's what gives you, vibes to like press forward. Sometimes you get
keeps in perspective as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Be like, oh, I think I have problems. Nah, these guys have problems, or somebody else has problems.
It makes you realize how blessed you are.
Exactly.
Feeding these kids that have nothing. You know what I mean? And be the person that that your younger self wanted to see. You know what I mean? Yep. And so, like you said, it gives you perspective is everything.
And especially as Polynesians, we're good with food, or like food is part of our culture. Uh-huh. There's more than enough to go around. There's more than enough food.
I know.
No Lucipi, or there's, come on, there's enough room at my table, let's all eat.
There's no chance in hell that I'm going to show up at lunch while everyone sees me eat. I was like, bro, you want some? Hey, let's eat.
Right.
So, yeah.
Hey, man. I like that. That went deep. That was cool. I guess, can you talk about how you're giving back right now, and with the boys' home that you're working in, and what you do there, and just how you give back to the community? I also follow you on like your Instagram and Facebook, and I see that you also give back with like food drives and stuff.
Yep.
Like, you want to talk about what you do with those things?
So I work at a group home part-time. Sundance Academy, and then for my full time, I'm a gang prevention specialist for the school district, working through the police department. And what I do is I help kids get out of gangs and try to keep them away from gangs and help them find resources, just to keep them away from the that negative lifestyle. Yeah. My biggest thing is like, how do you expect a kid to change if he only knows one way of living?
He doesn't know anything else, right?
Yeah. When I meet a kid, when I meet a kid in a gang, I said, bro, I don't care if you're in a gang, because at the end of the day, you're gonna do what you're gonna do. But let me show you some things that might interest you. And I say, and I don't tell them this, but in my mind, I say, if I have you thinking twice about making a stupid mistake, I did my job.
That's already a W.
Yeah. I already did my job. Okay. And a lot of these kids, they end up like, oh, Tua, I shouldn't listen to you. You know what I mean? And then me and my brother, DeMar Jones, he's part of Englewood Films. We started a nonprofit called Elate the Minds. And so what we do is we go around, we get invited to schools, universities, to talk about our lives and how we changed our lives. And just like, just give the kids hope, motivation, as a motivational speaker, to like give kids hope, and and we just go around feeding the Boys and Girls Club. Like we buy a bunch of pizzas. I find friends that want to donate some money to buy pizzas, and we feed them. If they have a full stomach, you got their full attention, right?
Yep.
So that's my thing. Feed them, get their full attention, and make sure they remember what we just said. And just showing, like, especially people of color, that they can, wow, I can get out of this lifestyle. And my biggest thing is, like, you're not your situation, you're not your circumstance. Like, you can change your life. A lot of these kids think that, oh, I live on the west side, Kearns, Glendale, Rose Park. That's it for me. That's all I'm going to do. I come from generations of gangbangers. That's what I'm going to be. No, bro, you can change that, right? You know that, right? So I like to take people with me that have similar stories and backgrounds and use that to show kids, like, they can get out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Man, that's cool. And then you were also on the Dr. Phil show.
Yeah.
Man, talk about that. How'd you get on that, and how did they come to you with, how did all that happen?
So I have a documentary that was made by Salty Block Pictures called Relentless, and it's online. It's free to watch, and I believe somebody watched it, and I think one of my friends, I think it's Whitney, she reached out to me through inbox and said, hey, we have this guy looking for stories of hope and stuff like that. I mentioned you, and he watched your documentary and wants to get a hold of you. So his name is Troy. I forgot his last name, but he's the host. And he was hosting a Dr. Phil special on people that, got out of, what they what they were doing, and it made a change in their life. And so, that was awesome. We filmed there in Liberty Park. We filmed that whole episode at Liberty Park, and
Dang,
Dr. Phil sent a text to him, and he made me read it. It was like, man, Dr. Phil thanked us for, like, a tremendous story, and a lot of people took hold.
So what was the story about? Just like coming out of your circumstance or situations,
coming out of your
something?
circumstance. A lot of my friends that I brought were former gang members, and just like showing the progression of trying to make a change and what they live for now. So a lot of my guys, they live for their kids now. You know what I mean? And we just like show, like, you're not your circumstance, you're not your situation. There's never hope lost. Like, you can change. And it was a pretty good. Did you watch it? You watched it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good, huh?
I liked it.
Yeah, it was good.
I was like, I know that guy.
Yeah,
My wife was like, you don't know him? I was like, hey, you don't know. But yeah, it was cool. But man, for, I guess, culturally, as a people, what are some things that we have to unlearn?
Unlearn? Can I say what we should learn?
Yeah.
My message for Polynesian parents is to tell your kids, I love you more. Yeah, let them know how. And don't just say, I love you. Look them in the eyes and let them know that you love them. You can't say it enough.
Yep.
I want to let the Polynesian parents know that we live in a different era. We live in a different generation, and our kids are more exposed to social media, and there's a lot of false happiness on social media. So our old ways can't work on these new kids. Mm-hmm. And we need to learn to adapt and be consistent and be active in our kids' lives more than ever right now. And another thing that I want Polynesian parents to learn about is anxiety, depression, social depression, social awkwardness, and it's real. And these are what's killing our Polynesian kids.
Right.
If he doesn't find the love that at home, he's gonna find love in the streets. And I've seen it time and time again. And I feel like Polynesian parents need to learn how to adapt to these new times. And I'm not saying change your life and turn your head sideways or no, none of that. It's just like being genuinely there for your child and let them know whatever happens, just I'm gonna be there. Whether you make a mistake, whether you have a baby, whether you're pregnant, or whether you come out the closet as that you like the same sex, Be there for them. Do not shun them.
Yep.
Just because we're so
Culturally, it's looked down on.
Yes.
Or like you're not supposed to. Or...
Yes, and just practice what we preach. Love.
Yeah.
Love.
Straight up.
I mean, just realize that this is a different time, you know, and parents need to wake up and get with what their kid is going through. Just let them know that you're there for them and tell them I love you no matter how many times. I tell my kids I love you like 100 times a day. Yeah. Even when, you know, with their mom, I'm texting I love you. You know, just let them know that, you know, that you're there for them, you know?
Yeah. Reminds me, I watched this documentary on The Rock. Yeah. And The Rock talked about unconditional love.
Yeah.
And that's what he wants to share with his kids. And although he says, I love you to your kids,
yeah,
and they don't say it back to him, but there's, you know, like when you say, I'm like want to love my kids unconditionally, even though they don't reciprocate that, you still love them regardless. Yes. You know, you don't expect anything back. Like, even though I say it to you, but you don't say it back, like, it's all good. It's all love, you know?
I'm glad you brought that up, man. That is one of the most realest things that you could say.
Sometimes you keep track of, like, oh, he never say it back to me. And then, you know, in Polynesians, we always keep count.
Speak on it.
You know, we're like, oh, like 1 for me, 0 for you. Or, you know, like,
which brings me to my other thing that we need to learn, us as Polynesians, is if you do something for somebody, do it because you want to. Unconditionally, without expecting anything back. Yep. Anything back. It's like, I did it because I loved you. Yeah. You know, and that's what shows the purity of your heart. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you know what I mean? Just because they don't support, like, or share any of your things on social media does not mean that they don't like you or love you. You know what I mean? Just do it because you want to. Yeah. You know what I mean? And yeah, just do it out the kindness of your heart.
Yeah. That's what true unconditional love is, you know? People say, oh, yeah, I love you unconditionally, but start keeping count or keeping, you know, like, 1, 0, or, you know what I mean? Like, he said this, I didn't, or, you know, so.
Bro, you took my car. How come you didn't put gas in it?
Out the kindness of your heart, just let it go, you know?
And another thing is, like, us as Polynesians, man, we give up too easy. Yeah. We need to stop that. We give up too easy. And
just like you talk, trust the process.
Trust the process.
Yeah.
I love what I'm seeing. I love this podcast. I love this people being creative. Like, we are so creative and so passionate people that, you know what I mean? There's no chance that we can't do these things.
And then I guess just going back to what you talk about our ancestors, you know, coming from the strong bloodline. Yeah. Man, if our ancestors could navigate the oceans, bro, to figure out where all, like, Tahiti is, bro, where Hawaii is. Yep. And like just sailing in double hull canoes. Yep. You see how, like, strong the mind is? I think that's,
bro.
So now, we are those ancestors.
Now,
you know,
if
that
we
came from here.
We can eat what they ate back in the day as a diet, bro, we will be unstoppable and stop with this, you know, this
G-Unit and
foreign, G-Unit, this foreign things that's in the chemicals in the food we eat now. Right. Oh man, that would be awesome, bro. That'll be awesome.
I guess that's something we have to unlearn too as a people. Yeah, the food.
Yeah, bro.
Taking care of ourselves better.
We need to take care of ourselves. I mean, I'm at fault too. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I'm trying. You know what I mean? But we do need to look out for our health and not put health first. You know, kind of up there in the priorities. You know what I mean? Yeah. Family, but don't forget our health.
Take care of ourselves. Yeah. Yep. And then hopefully we come out of this virus not too lapo'a. Yeah. Because we were stuck indoors, so you're just eating all day, you know?
Yep.
But yeah, man, I guess for you, like, how do you manage your time? Because you do films, you're doing your part-time, full-time, and then you're doing, like, giving away, you know? Like, how do you manage that?
I think the biggest thing is, if it's important to you, you're always going to find time for it. Okay? You know, like, people ask me all the time, like, man, you have so many hustles. I'm like, but the thing is, people don't realize when it comes to the people that I love, I always make time. Yep. Oh, when it comes to my kids, I'm with my kids, you know what I mean? But you just got to make time. If it's important to you, you don't make any excuses.
Man, I appreciate it. You know, the time that you're giving me now, this, you know, whatever hour, whatever of your time, man.
Bro, I was literally excited. I was like, man.
Appreciative, man.
I really like picked out an outfit for this. So yeah,
You know, just for you to make the time, man. So I really do appreciate it.
appreciate you, man.
I guess for you, for being a parent, you said you have your kids.
Yep.
What are some things that you want to teach them or pass on to your kids?
What I want to pass on to my kids is, I want to expose them to many different things as much as possible. So when it comes time for them to to graduate high school, they kind of have options
Right.
to what they want to do. Like, you ever come across a teenager, 17 years old? What do you want to do with your life? I don't know. Like, I don't like that. You know what I mean? So I want to expose them to a lot of different ways of. I wasn't exposed to film, and
Right.
I'm teaching them film. You know, my youngest wants to be an actress, and you know what I mean. One of them wants to be a writer. You know what I mean? And I just want to let them know that they can do it. You know, if I can do it, you can do it. You know, think outside the box.
Yeah. I always tell people, you know, in Coco it was easy wanting to be an NFL player because there were so many people ahead of us or in front of us that were NFL players, you know.
Yep.
But then there weren't too many people ahead of us that were entrepreneurs or that were, you know,
Yeah.
like outside of the football realm, you know.
Yep.
But then now that we're coming up, you know, doing what you do, doing what I do, or, you know, whoever else is, you know, stepping outside of the traditional jobs, you know. Now there's another Polynesian. There's a first Samoan astronaut, or you know what I mean. Like there's all kinds of people, Polynesians. Even Taika Waititi, you know what I mean. He won the
shout out to
Golden
Taika
Globe.
Waititi. Man, shout out to him, man. I remember from his first films, Boy, and
Boy,
there was one
Boy.
before that where I was like, now look at him.
Yeah,
like look at him, he's killing it, man. He just did that film in Hawaii. Shout out to New Hawaii, man. My brothers Crichton and Russell Satele, Keely Sosili.
I see. Yeah, that you're.
Easton, Clowning 808. Those are some good friends. Those are very creative.
I see you've been doing collabs with them, and
every time I go to Hawaii,
down,
Ati, the real Ati. Oh man, super hilarious people, man. Kulani Watson.
So that just shows you that you know we're all, we all have talents and we all have something to offer the world, you know.
Yeah.
And it is okay to be unique or to be different because that's what you have to offer. So
and put our prides at the door, leave our pride at the door, man. You know, just
because it could have been easy for you to be like, nah, I don't want to work with them, or I only want to bring certain people up, you know. But, yeah, man.
We gotta stop that too.
Yeah,
all that.
Cool, man. Well, I just got a few questions just to get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah.
This is about just wrapping it up, but just whatever the first thing comes to mind, go ahead and speak on it. But what takes up too much of your time?
What takes up too much of my time? Bro, I want to be honest with you. I just said this today. I think too much if I'm not doing enough. Am I doing enough? I feel like I'm not doing enough, and it takes a lot of my time. You know, we have this thing where I get this thing where, man, what kind of legacy you want to leave behind? And what takes up my time is me constantly thinking, man, am I doing enough?
Yeah.
Should I do this more? Should I, you know what I mean? So that takes up a lot of my time. So yeah, if that makes sense.
Cool. What do you wish you knew more about?
What did I wish that I knew about? I wish I knew more about our culture, going into depth about our history, not just Samoan history, just Polynesian history, period. And just finding out some of the facts that we had back in the day that could change people's mindsets now. You know, this whole, we're different, you know, you're Tongan, I'm Samoan, but then when you find out those facts, like, wow, you know, we're the same. There's a village, there's a village somewhere in Western Samoa where Tongans, you know, were, integrated from, and just things like that. Just to change people's perspective on things. Yeah,
I think in Hawaii it was easier, where the different cultures got along, the diversity with the Tongan, Samoans, Fijians, and so I thought that was cool. What inspires you?
My kids.
Or who, I guess. Yeah.
My kids, they inspire me. It just inspires me how a human being can come from you and be better than you and look better than you, and just seeing them grow and just realize, you know, how blessed you are. You know what I mean? Just seeing like a seed of you like walk on this earth.
Right.
And I never thought that I would say stuff like that, you know, coming, you know, from a young perspective. But just watching my kids grow, and they inspire me to do better, because I want them to do better too. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
What's your favorite book?
My favorite book. Man, I'm gonna go with this one, the Bible.
Amen.
The Bible.
If you could spend the day with someone dead or alive to pick their brain, who would it be?
Oh, my grandfather.
Yeah.
My grandfather.
Did you get to know him, or he passed away before you?
I was young.
Okay.
I was young. I think I just remember giving him a hard time, but he was like the most gentle soul. And from the stories I've heard, he was like that chief for our family. You know, he held people together, and I wanted to pick his brain on the kind of things he did back in his day when he was my age, and see if we were alike it somehow.
Yeah.
You know.
Gotcha. What is special about the place you grew up?
The special about the place that I grew up is, I think Hawaii. I mean, the aloha spirit, man. Just like, you know, looking out for one another. You know, my kids go around saying, you know, uncle and auntie, call them uncle, call them auntie. And that's something that's from Hawaii. You know, whether it be a stranger or not, you know, there's always that respect, you know, where we're from. And just like the will to not give up, because, man, it's hard out there. Like, as far as to keep up with the cost of living and stuff like that. And people are, I think, coming from where we're from, people find joy in the small things. Yep. You know, making some sandwiches and going to buy some Spam with bees and just go to the beach and have just go have a picnic, you know, real quick. And those are the small things that I see people take joy in. You know what I mean? Yeah.
What have you only recently formed an opinion about?
What I recently formed an opinion about?
Yeah.
The coronavirus.
That's taking over every headline, right? At the time.
Yeah, I just had my opinion on the whole thing is, I think it's a blessing in disguise. Mm-hmm. It's kind of teaching us that we were spoiled, man. Like, people putting their money on sports and putting their focus on a lot of things that were really kind of unnecessary. Yeah. You know, being religious about being a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. You know what I mean? My boy said it perfect. My boy Alonzo, he said, God pushed the pause button for us to seek him again. Right. And I believe that with all my heart, you know what I mean? Like, you know, now we're spending time now with our kids, staying indoors and just cooking and cleaning, doing TikToks, you know what I mean? Just now, I think that's my opinion on it. It's kind of like a blessing in disguise, you know what I mean?
Nice. What's the luckiest thing that's happened to you?
The luckiest thing. Bro, you want to be honest with you? The first thing that come in mind, bro, being invited to be on a BYU TV show.
That's cool.
And I don't know, nobody knows this, but I didn't grow up LDS, which is fine. I mean, nothing against, you know what I mean? But just being like a non-member and going on there, that's how you know
that
God.
Speaks volumes.
That's God.
That's crazy.
That's God, bro. And
what show was it? Or what?
It's called. I wasn't supposed to speak on it, but I'll say.
Sorry. No, you don't have to.
It's a show. It's like a pilot show called Hello Sunday. Okay. And it's talking about, you know, finding people of motivation for like a little motivational sitcom for people to watch before, you know, the Sunday starts or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, I just got invited a month ago. Bro, and BYU Studios, man, it's legit.
Those guys, they got money out there.
I didn't realize how many movies they did, you know what I mean? And just like, bro, I was sitting in the green room and I was like thinking to myself, like, wow, like, I'm in BYU Studios. And
a non-member.
And a non-member.
That's cool.
Who knows, man? Who knows? I might convert. I don't know.
Amen.
People say I might make a good member. You know what I mean? So we'll see. You know, let God do His thing.
What song will guarantee to make you dance?
I'll probably sing it for you. Sugar, yes, please. Would you come and put it down on me?
Yeah, I know.
Maroon 5.
Maroon 5, yeah.
Yeah.
What are you most looking forward to in the next 10 years?
Being able to make my own movies and giving people opportunities to be there.
Yeah.
I just had like a little deja vu vision, just like looking at being able to make movies and give people the opportunity to be on them, showcasing their talents.
Giving minorities, yeah.
Minorities, people of color, Polynesians,
color,
just being able to like give those, just being able to do what I love to do, and give back at the same time.
Nice. What could you give a 40-minute presentation on with no preparation?
I could do a 40-minute presentation about believing in yourself.
Yeah.
Believing in yourself and realizing that, you know, it doesn't take money to become successful. It just takes the will, the passion, and the drive. Yeah, I can go on about that. We can go on right now. I'm just kidding.
What hobby would you get into if time and money weren't an issue?
What hobby? Time and money wasn't an issue. Writing books.
Okay.
Writing books.
Dang, that's cool.
Yeah.
When people come to you for help, what do they usually need help with?
Motivation. Drive. Just asking like how they can get out their situation.
What is something you think everyone should do at least once in their life?
Pray.
Whether it doesn't have to be God, right? It's just whoever you believe in, the higher power.
If you do not believe in God, believe in karma. Believe in karma, believe in good vibes. Whatever vibes you put onto this world, you reciprocate.
Nice. Which of your scars has the best story behind it?
Scars. This one.
Oh yeah, what happened?
People say they think it's a tattoo. My mom about lost it when I took a selfie. She thought I got a tattoo on my eye, but it was a spider bite.
Oh dang!
A brown recluse.
Yeah.
And the reason why I got a scar is because, you know, being Polynesian, we have this thing prideful to go to hospital, right? So I let it play out and I ended up getting a scar. So go to the hospital.
What helps you live in the moment?
What helps me live in the moment? Going outside and seeing nature.
Yeah.
I'm big on like having the sun beam on my face. If you follow me on IG, I love when the sun beams on my face. And it makes me realize, wow, I got another chance to do something. So nature.
Yeah. Cool. And then last question. If you could give back to your village, how would you go about doing that, or what would you do?
I would build my village a gymnasium.
Or Makiki or
in Fangsa, in Samoa.
Okay, Samoa.
So my mom's village of Fangsa, I built them a gymnasium and gave kids the opportunity, you know, to like work on either whether joining the army, because you know how big American Samoa is joining the army, right? Or joining the army, training for sports, or training for just school period, you know what I mean? And build them a gymnasium and probably like a little computer lab or something. Yeah,
get all the creative people in there,
some iPads and come on, Apple. Hopefully Apple sees this. Like, donate like 30 iPads. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Man. Well, again, thank you for the time. I'm really appreciative of it. And Oh, you want to give any shout outs? Where can people find you? If they want to reach out.
Yo,
give some shout outs, give your handles.
Yep. Shout out to my boys from Inglewood Films, man. INGLEWOODS Films. At on IG. You can find me at Tua Kealoha, everything Tua Kealoha, TuaKealoha on IG. Shout out to Elate the Minds on IG. Shout out to my brothers, man, DeMar Jones, Musa Aiden, JD Allen, Chappelle Griggs, and shout out to everybody.
You got any films coming up? Any projects
Yes,
that you want to shout out?
We're working on a feature film called Ultimate Sacrifice. It was written and it's being directed by my boy Chappelle Griggs. Obviously, doing what's going on right now, we kind of put things on hold. But we've been filming that for a little bit. And
you said you were supposed to film this coming Monday, but it had to be on pause.
So this Saturday, I wrote a script called Ride or Die, and we were supposed to film it this Saturday. But, again, with the things that's going on, I don't want to take no chances. But I do have someone go forward. It's halfway written right now. I got another script called Changes, talking about the state and the kids in the system. That's about halfway done right now. And in the meantime, I'm writing just little comedy skits, just so we can, keep the people laughing. You know what I mean?
Keep the spirits up.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you for your time. But thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Village Made Podcast. From my village to yours, the marathon continues.
Marathon continues, baby. Toco uso, baby.